Alright, what is going on, everybody? We just hit the gas station in Sturgis, and we are about to head to Boulder Canyon. We're gonna hit the three-wheeler rally in Deadwood. Got one of my friends with me here. The last time I think me and him rode together, we were on Sportsters. So this is the legendary town of Sturgis. I grew up here. There's a cop right there, so I'm glad we're not speeding. Fun little town here. It's roughly 6,500 people, and you know, during the normal year, that's about how many people are here. I may have gone up recently here, but not too much. And it's a pretty quiet little town throughout most of the year. They have actually gotten a couple little breweries and restaurant upgrades lately, which is nice. When I was growing up here, I moved here in 1997. There weren't many options as far as eating establishments and stuff like that. So it's nice to have more options. But this is the main drag. On the 75th rally, I saw bikes literally from here all the way past the on or the off ramp for the interstate. They were backing up on the interstate, and it was intense. The 80th as well. If you've ever been to one of those big ears, one of the 5s, one of the 0s, it's a lot of people, and it's also a lot of fun. This will be the 82nd rally this year. I will definitely be out causing problems. Be hitting up, I think, the Snoop Dogg concert. There's going to be a Yellow Wolf concert going here at the Iron Horse Salute on the 5th of August. I'll be going to that. Absolutely. My friend here's got a Fat Bob. It is a hot day out right now. Probably about 100 degrees. Sturgis liquor, if you ever get the chance, you know, if drinks are super expensive during Sturgis. Here's the Sturgis Knuckle, also super famous right here, Lynn's Dakota Mart, and you'll have the Jack Daniels tent right here. So drinks are super expensive here in Sturgis. Behoove you guys, if you're gonna drink and you need to get little shooters, you can just buy the shot glass or the little shooters and put them in your pockets, carry them around in your vest or whatever, and that will totally help you get drunk on a dime instead of spending so much money on mixed drinks in the concert venues and whatnot. At that Jack Daniels tent, they'll have Jack Daniels slushies. You got to check this out. Let's see, at the Knuckle there's always really cool things. I love when they have like the bar fighting. I've seen bull riding in there, which is really fun. This whole area will be jam-packed in just a few weeks. There was actually quite a few motorcycles here yesterday. It's kind of why I wanted to ride through. Here we go, JP Cycles. This is one of the few stores that stays open and has lots of inventory that you can go buy things from, which is really nice. Guy is speeding. Got a Dollar General now. Look, here's Indian Motorcycles right here. If you're looking for a place to offload your motorcycle out of a truck, Indian Motorcycles has a ramp right here in town. It's free to use. We utilized that maybe last year and got my buddy's bike off. We hit a little nasty storm coming from Colorado last year. Sturgis Coffee Company, really good coffee over here. If you get the chance, go check out their coffee in the morning. I do not support McDonald's. This little place here, it's Runnings now, but it used to be what was called the Campbell's, and my dad actually worked there at one point in time when I was in high school. Growing up here in Sturgis was a lot of fun. You know, during the winters and whatnot, it's a pretty small community. Everybody knows each other. It gets lots of snow, at least it sure did back then. You know, and we'd be riding snowmobiles through the streets and four-wheelers, pulling sleds and stuff behind those things. And the Black Hills has just gotten to be a much livelier place nowadays. I was seriously saying to somebody the other day, I've got to pick and choose what events I want to do because there's so many of them that I literally got to choose nowadays. This is one of my favorite rides here in the Black Hills. This is going to be called Boulder Canyon. It's just got some of the best road, I think. You know, it curves, scenery, and flow to it. There's nothing so tight that you have to slow down very much, and I think for the majority of the canyon the speed limit's around 55. So it's a good little jag through. Such a beautiful canyon right here. You know, and as kids we'd go through the Black Hills in four-wheelers, Jeeps, and just everything, you know, anything we could, anytime we could, really. And that was before those side-by-sides existed. But yeah, all these roads are connectable up here in the Black Hills. little creek that runs through here. When I moved to Sturgis, this road was actually dirt. This was a dirt road up. So is Boulder Canyon, and pretty much all of the roads going up. The road going up to Mount Rushmore used to be dirt. So it's really come a long ways. I mean, tourism obviously has helped that out a lot. And in the last 10 years, the population and just availability of things here has really increased. You know, when we were growing up, before the internet was extremely popular and also everywhere, you know, even like shopping, everybody had the same clothes, everybody went to the same stores, and there was very little variety for what was available. There was no online shopping even, you know, so it was a lot different. I imagine that we're some of the last people to know what that actually feels like, versus the younger generation would have absolutely no idea what it would feel like to not have that kind of variety and available at your, you know, fingertips. You can order anything you want, any kind of pattern you want, and from any country you want, basically, and get it to the United States within a matter of days. And so you could imagine everybody growing up here in the 90s, you know, wearing the same exact clothes from Kmart and Walmart and like the local Palmyra store. It was there was very little variety. We all looked the same, and to a lesser extent, it's the same way today. But you know, everybody can obviously order in clothes. There's still a lot of the same clothes that float around, whatever. But it was just a different world back then. Sturgis, you know, it also used to be a little bit more rowdy, you could say. You know, the crowd was a little bit rougher. Also, the bikes were a little bit rougher. I can't tell you exactly at what time, but Harley Davidson's bikes, they started taking a drastic price increase. So just getting a Harley was a very expensive deal, and you couldn't just hop into one. You know, after a certain point of production in Harley Davidsons, you needed to make a certain amount of income in order to get one, and that's still true today, definitely. You know, and that's probably the number one problem with Harley Davidsons is their price point. Obviously, their motorcycles are awesome, and everybody wants to be like Harley. Everyone tries to emulate Harley in their style, in their look, in their sound. But the thing is, everyone else's prices points are much more affordable. And if you're talking especially about a new rider getting into it, man, I just went through with my brother-in-law. He got a Sportster for $8,000. When I got my first Sportster, I spent $4,000. They were nice enough at that Black Hills Harley Davidson dealership to give him $800 credit for shopping for his new setup. They knew he was a new rider, so they hooked him up with that. And I thought, man, that's awesome. So he got boots, a helmet, jacket, a hat, and maybe a shirt. So it was pretty cool, dude. You know, and that's something you could expect if you're getting into the basic bottom line Sportster now is $14,000 for a new one, and that's crazy, you know, like, especially for somebody who, you know, is making $34,000 a year, to spend, you know, half of their yearly income on a motorcycle that isn't even a crucial part of their day. That's like absolutely wild. My friend is flying right now, dude. I feel like I ride aggressive, and we're doing almost 70 up this canyon. Woo, riders! So yeah, the crowd used to be a little bit rougher in Sturgis, definitely. And I mean, I just, maybe it's just as I got older, I started remembering it a little bit differently. But when we first started, when we came to town, I was 8 years old, and my mom, you know, didn't want to let us out of the house, and I I knew. I went the first time we were able to walk downtown during the day, and I saw the girls and the bikes and the paint and the chrome and the sunlight. I just knew, like, I was gonna do this shit forever. I knew that it was me. Like, I fit right in here. And like, man, I was 23 when I got my first bike. I'm 33 now. This is my second Harley, and I'm never looking back. If anything, I'm looking at getting more and more. I'd love to get a different brand of a motorcycle. I'd like to get an on-off-road motorcycle and start going through Black Hills and all the trails here. I think there's over 4,000 miles of trails in the Black Hill here, which is crazy. You know, a guy could be busy on a little on-off-road dirt bike for, you know, years out here, trying to get to know everything. I actually went out to the Ingersoll Mine this morning. I filmed that, and I'll put that on the channel here in a little bit after I get it edited and whatnot. There's tons of mines you can go to. There's abandoned little towns out there, like little mining towns that have been just abandoned, and then they're still out there in the Black Hills. People go find them. So it's a beautiful place to be. I guess I heard it was a 20-year anniversary for what was called the Grizzly Gulch fire. This whole hillside right here was on fire, and it burned it so hot that you can see that 20 years later the trees are still barely coming back on her. Pretty devastating fire. Dude, my homeboy is a rider, dude. He is flying. Looked online, they're having a three-wheeler rally, and I thought, you know what, we better ride motorcycles today. Hit up the homie, he said he was going to come, and we're off. Just saw a new subscriber. I wish I remembered her name right now. She said she was in the area, and she's going to have a ride. I think it was called Bell's Blue Ride on the first Saturday of the rally. I might try to hit that maybe up, and I'll see if I can't get any information about it. I will try to link it below. Here we go. Trike. I guess these trikes do consider themselves a three-wheeler. I would consider them a three-wheeler. I don't know why I didn't consider trikes being up here. I just considered those little like Can-Am spider things, or even those. Oh man, what were they, like Vanderbilts? Or we'll see. We'll see more when we get up here. Good old Deadwood. Deadwood is a historic town. If you weren't familiar with South Dakota and how it was founded, in 1876 this state was founded, pretty much against the government's will. That's how we like to do it here. And what that means is there was actually a treaty with the Native Americans saying that white men would not enter the area, and General Custer led an expedition over through here to explore the Black Hills, and a guy with him yanked up a rose bush in a rocky little crag, and it had gold stuck to its roots. And then we basically started invading the Native Americans' land and then taking it over piece by piece. It was pretty brutal, and they were very successful. Now we have a town here called Deadwood. Prostitution was legal here all the way up until the... Where are we going? I'll follow you. I'll follow you. Prostitution was here legal here all the way until the 80s, and we're all pretty bummed out. They took it away. America. So, sweet little town. This place has been burned to the ground several times. This little place is called Tin Lizzie. Sweet place. They have sports betting, nice little sports betting lounge now. Oh, watch out, girl. Huh. Alright, let's see. Mr. Woo's, they have $2 dailies. And all the residential streets up here in Deadwood are just absolutely crazy. I mean, if you ever get a chance to go like walk them or do a bike or something and go through those residential streets, I promise you, this is one of the craziest towns in America. The way they will do switchbacks, they have like roads on top of roads and alleyways, and it is just wild. So let's see, this place right here, the Wild Bill Bar, is the place that Wild Bill Hickok was actually shot. They supposedly have the chair that he was shot in at the saloon number 10, which is just up the way here on the left. Cool cigar bar right here down in the basement of this. Fun fact about Deadwood here in the 1800s, it was a wild, lawless place. Very much so. Cowboys and Indians, gold miners, and very little lawmen in the area. So they were absolutely here doing the Wild West stuff, where you could walk into the bars and the casinos with your gun, and if you got a little too drunk, they would take your gun away. And that kind of life was just very prevalent here. The white people could actually shoot Chinese people if they were out after dark, and Chinese people made catacombs underneath the street here, and a lot of those catacombs are still here today through some of these historic hotels. If you know somebody, they can get you down into there. It's pretty sweet. I love this place. Deadwood's just got so much history. Alright, thank you so much for watching that ride.